Alright, you guys, so Barcelona have just put together a comprehensive ass whooping of Athletic Bilbao in the Spanish Supercup. And let me tell you, it was so magical that before 39 minutes of the game, Barcelona's front line of Ferran Torres, Fermin Lopez, Rooney Baghdadi, and Rafinha managed to get a combined 8 goals and assists. It was given, you get a goal, you get a goal, you get a goal, you get an assist, everybody gets a goal, and this was all before halftime. We need to talk about it. But first, if this is your first time seeing my face, hi guys, I am JustMax and I talk about football from the La Liga to the Prem, UCL, and all of that good stuff. Of course, it's always going to be Vizca Barca for me because I am a culé, and you can tell by the huge grin on my face. I have just enjoyed premium hands of flick football today. It was giving high octane, high energy, high intensity, high goal scoring, technicality on flick. Listen, if I was not a Barca fan, I would be so jealous of this fan base. I really would. Because there is no other football like Barcelona football. But let me rein myself in and my excitement in. Because we need to take it all the way back to the starting lineup that Hansi Flick put together today. Because, of course, it was Joan Garcia in goal, coming off that magnificent Espanyol performance over the weekend, which, by the way, I did put out a short form content and I wasn't able to do a long form video content for it because I was traveling at the time. So please, if you didn't see my coverage and you were disappointed, please go watch my short form content. It is all there, I promise. We do have Jules Koundé in right back, Pau Kubasi in the centre back position. Eric Garcia returns to the centre-back position after playing much of the latter stages of 2025 in the midfield. And we have Alejandro Balde in the left-back. It was Gerard Martin who has now returned to the bench for Barcelona. Frenkie de Jong returns to the starting lineup, and boy, did he have himself a game. Pedri in that pivot with Frenkie, ooh la la. And then we have Rooney Baghdadi, who was a surprise addition, coming in place of Lamine Yamal, and boy did he take his moment. Listen, sometimes you say you don't get enough moments, but in the moments that you do, you need to make an impression to the coach. And Rooney Baghdadi said, I subscribe to that lesson and I take it, because this was a game unlike any other games from that young man. Sensational. Rafinha was back on the wings for Barcelona, and let me tell you, I don't want to see Rafinha in the 10. I know, I said it in summer, when we're trying to see about potential, formations that could work for Rafinha and Rashford to play the same team. Yeah, we talked about Rafinha playing the 10. We've experimented it. But Rafinha is one of the best left wingers out there. I don't want to see him in the 10 anymore. Please put him back on the wings. Because every time this man was running today, hey, chaos was happening and I lived for it. You guys know, if you've watched a lick of my video, I am a Fermin Lopez stan. I live for him, and I'm so glad that I was one of the few voices on here who was fighting for Fermin Lopez to stay at the club in the summer. He has certainly been paying dividends this season, and today was no difference. He was such a hard nut for Athletic Bilbao to deal with, and of course leading the line, it was Ferran Torres. And let me tell you, this game, it did not start out easy for Barcelona at all. Within the first 10 minutes, Athletic Bilbao, they felt like they came to play. They put together very high pressing. I felt like Barcelona, they found it very, very difficult to get out of their half within the first 10 minutes. Athletic Bilbao kept on putting us under pressure. We had a slew of corner kicks that kept on coming in and opportunities for Athletic Bilbao to take the lead. But this is where Joan Garcia comes in. I've never really had the privilege to enjoy a goalkeeper who keeps you single-handedly in the game long enough for your team to settle down. I finally understand what the Madrid people have been enjoying with Thibaut Courtois, because Joan Garcia, his presence in the box, his calmness, everything, he just kept us in the game until Barcelona just relaxed after that 10th minute, and then from there henceforth, it was cruise control. Like when I told you that Barcelona started mounting the pressure on Athletic Club, it was wave after wave after wave of pressure. And following up from that performance over the weekend, it was Ferran Torres and of course Femi Lopez who combined together to give up the first goal. But it all stems from a move from Rooney Baghdadi, who debuting for Lamine Yamal. He did not let this young man down at all. He puts together a very sensational run, cuts in a cross into the box, which Femi Lopez does make a mess of it. He couldn't sort out his feet. It does count as an assist for Femi Lopez, but I think he did mean to shoot. It just goes a bit wide. Luckily, he does find Ferran Torres in the box, who just makes a very, very quick turnaround and strikes at Unai Simon's goal, and it's 1-0 for Barcelona. And let me tell you, Unai Simon, he had a hard time today. This was the game that many people had said, we need to watch this game closely to decide who would be the Spanish goalkeeping number one. Of course, for many days now, the conversation has been going on. This is a World Cup here. Who should be the starting goalkeeper? By statistically speaking, Joan Garcia is the best goalkeeper in La Liga, but for many years now, Unai Simon has had that Spanish number one on lockdown for many years. So the debate has been over the past few days, who would be the Spanish number one? So with that context in mind, it just meant that Unai Simon could not afford to have a bad game. He really needed to put together a performance, and today, in my opinion, he did not. It was not a good performance, because immediately that goal from Ferran Torres went in, it just seemed to me like the dam broke and it just kept on coming wave after wave. Every Barcelona attack looked like a potential goal. It's that serious. And one of the things that I wanted to credit Barcelona players today was for how direct they were in their attack. The second goal comes exactly from that. A very direct ball from Pedri in midfield, straight pass to Rafinha on the wings. Rafinha takes it and drives to the byline, finds a diagonal pass to Fermin Lopez, who's left unmarked in the middle of the box, which I'm kind of like what? Femi Lopez is unmarked in the middle of the box. Like, how can that even happen? And of course, the way Femi Lopez takes that very confidently, top bins, very good rocket. On that one goal, I will agree that there was nothing Unai Simon could have done. But the third goal, oh dear, it was a shit show. It was a howler. Oh my gosh. Credit to Rooney Baghdadi, who was able to do his best impersonation of Lamine Yamal. He takes the ball, dances through the left wing side of Barcelona, and I did not see this goal coming at all. I did not see it coming whatsoever. He dances and he puts a shot, and I thought that the shot was weak. I thought that it's a savable shot from Unai Simon, but somehow it just kind of crept under him and rolled ever so slowly to the net. And I was like, oh my gosh, if you were Unai Simon and you knew that this debate has been going on, the other guy at the other end of the post has managed to keep the team in the game for the first 10 minutes when arguably Athletic Club were the better side, and then here you are making a howler in a game where I'm very sure De La Fuente was definitely tuned in. It was such a shit show. But if you think that Barcelona were done on the 34th minute when Baghdadi scored that goal, you must be kidding. Because again, like I said, Rafinha has been in on everything. He has basically constructed this whole entire first half of Barcelona, so it made sense that he himself was always going to get on the score sheet. And y'all know I live for Rafinha. I love him down. And that pass again from midfield that finds Rafinha, he takes it, he drives, he cuts in, he kind of shimmy with the defender. Could it have been argued that the defender could have defended him a bit better? Maybe. Everybody knows that Rafinha has a good left foot. Maybe you want to ensure that he doesn't get on his left foot. But the way he was so confident, the shimmy, he just cuts the ball onto his left foot, and the rocket that follows. It's a near post goal, but it's a rocket. Listen to me. I screamed. He deserved a goal. Y'all know that's my Ballon d'Or, and I lived hands down for it. Now, there could be an argument to say, could Unai Simon have saved it? Because again, a goalkeeper should never be beat at the near post. It just shouldn't. but that was a rocket. But a goalkeeper should never be beat at the near post. But anyway, we go into the halftime, Barcelona 4-0. And honestly, I felt so like, if you are Ernesto Valverde, what do you say to your team to get them ready for the second half? Because they were okay for the first 10 minutes, but everything thereafter, it was, whoo! And then Barcelona comes out, and I felt bad. I really literally watching it, I felt so bad for Athletic Club because Barcelona could have scored. I even think at some point after they scored that fifth goal again from Rafinha, he gets himself 2 goals and assists, gets a standing ovation when he leaves. I felt like they did take the foot off the gas. They could have gone on to score more, but maybe they felt bad for them, because even I felt bad for them. I was like, yo, they're going through it. They're really, really going through it, you know. And the worst thing for Athletic Bilbao, I would say, is that they couldn't even find a consolation. Like today, it's not like they did not have chances in this game. I felt like they did. They did have opportunities where they could have at least gotten themselves a consolation. There was that one shot where it did hit the woodwork in the first half. There was another clear direct one-on-one opportunity where this player was bearing down on Joan Garcia. I do think that it wouldn't have gone in anyway, but he scuffed his shot so wide. It was like, at least hit the target and make Joan Garcia make the save. But with my eye calculation, I felt like Joan Garcia did already cover the angle, so he probably was not going to be able to score anyway, but at least hit the target, right? That's the least you could do as a striker. You know, there was just all those opportunities where they had opportunities where they put together some things, and then it just went so wrong. They just never really had that finished product. But all in all, it does end 5-1. It was a very, very, very comprehensive win. It was a totally enjoyable performance. It was pure Hansi Flick football like you've never seen it before. I lived for it. I totally enjoyed myself. For me, the man of the match, it's arguably between Fermin Lopez and Rafinha, because they just put together a sensation. Oh, before I forget, Lamine Yamal, Robert Lewandowski, Dani Olmo, and Marcus Rashford, they were all on the bench while Barcelona was doing all of this. And when Lamine Yamal came on and Dani Olmo also came on, they looked like they wanted to get in on the act. It was that contagious. Like, so if you can imagine, this Barcelona team is literally whooping your ass 5-0, and some of their most lethal weapon is not even on the pitch at the moment. Oh, God, Lord. I felt bad for Athletic Bilbao. But anywho, this was a resounding performance. We now turn our focus to Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid to see who would make it out of that game and play Barcelona in the finals. I'm glad for this result today because it does send a resounding message to either of those teams. If you won the Supercup trophy, you better be willing to sweat for it. And that's on what? Period. Now, if you've liked this analysis and you've liked my video, please remember to hit the like button. Leave me a comment of what you thought about this game in the comment section. Hit that subscribe button. I would love to grow this channel with you. And on that note, I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.